yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I think it's too long though, but it really shows the acting chops of the lead, Kathy Bates. And it's kind of interesting if you watch this as a double feature with Misery, because like at first you kind of think it is like Misery, and that she's like this multiple killer. And as you learn from Christopher Plummer later, he thinks that she killed her husband. And this is all spoilers. This movie came out a long time ago. I would recommend it, especially if you're a Stephen King fan. I think it's very well made, well directed. How it jumps from the past to the present, back to the past to the present, and illuminates Jennifer Jason Leigh's character too, who's her daughter. So definitely a recommendation. I do think I think it's a little bit too long, but very well made, well written. Script by Tony Gilroy, and great cast: Kathy Bates, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Christopher Plummer. Pretty small cast, really. John C. Reilly's in it as like a deputy sheriff. David Stratham plays Kathy Bates' husband, who is dead. I mean, he's in the flashbacks to the past, but he's really good. He's really like a bastard. It's like he's really just a mean drunk. Eric Bogosian is in it for a little bit as Jennifer Jason Leigh's boss. So definitely a recommendation. So basically, Delores Claiborne is she works as like a maid kind of at this rich lady's house, and in the beginning you see her fall down the stairs and there's like an argument, and then she goes and grabs like a mallet. She's about to kill her with it, and then a postman walks in as he's delivering the mail, and then he sees this. So this all sets up that she's probably gonna be charged with murder. Jennifer Jason Leigh is her daughter, and she's like this, high class New York journalist, and she doesn't really like to go back home. She barely talks to her mother. She blames her for her father's death. Even if she doesn't blame her for actually killing him, she didn't like how she treated him. But she's kind of blocked out parts of her memory of the past, which is shown later. And Christopher Plummer, back when the husband died, thinks that she killed the husband, but he couldn't prove it. So she's like the case that got away from him as a prosecutor. And now there's another case involving another mysterious death, and he's gonna get her. He's gonna get his man. So this is basically the setup for the movie, and yeah, it's really well shot. It's well made. Directed by Taylor Hackford, who directed Ray, Officer and Gentleman. So he's a solid director. He weaves past and present seamlessly with vivid flashbacks. Cinematography is stunning. Present-day scenes uses cold gray tones to reflect emotional bleakness, while flashbacks pop with bright colors, symbolizing distorted memories. The eclipse scene is really well done. That's where the husband falls through this into this like old well, and that scene's really good because the husband is like a bastard. He's like mean. He beats her, and she earlier finds out that there's this well that's been covered up by a piece of wood, but the wood's all warped and rotten, and she almost falls through it at one point, and then she lets him fall through it. I've always liked that actor, David Stratham. Like he's in the Bourne movies, he's in Good Night and Good Luck. And you usually don't see him play a character like that, but he's really good. And yeah, he's really just evil. You know, there's hints that he probably touched his daughter, and Jennifer Jason Leigh has blocked that out of her memory. But then when she's on the barge and she's about to go back home, she remembers it. And she remembers that the mom tried to protect her, and she's been way too harsh on her mother. So you know, it's really, like, all that's really well done. Of course, it's in Maine, you know, like almost all of Stephen King's stuff. Apparently, this is one of Stephen King's favorite adaptations, along with The Shawshank Redemption and Stand By Me. And he likes Misery a lot too. And there's definitely similarities between this and Misery, but in Misery, she's like a nut job. And in this, you know, she's just a hardworking woman who's had a hard life and married just kind of like a really, you know, bastard of a husband. There's definitely a feminist lens in this. Dolores and Vera's bond highlights and women navigating, as Vera says, a depressingly masculine world. It's about reclaiming power in the face of abuse and societal judgment. So yeah, there's definitely that in there. I mean, I don't know, it's not like how a modern movie would do it, where they just keep hammering it home and hammering it home. I mean, you understand her point of view because the husband really is not a good guy, and especially later when you see what he did to his daughter, you know, you really hate this guy. Mother-daughter dynamics, the strained relationship between Dolores and Selena is raw and real, showing how love and hurt coexist, and their reconciliation is, you know, really powerful. But yeah, it basically centers on Kathy Bates. Her estranged daughter, Jennifer Jason Leigh, big city journalist, returns home. And Christopher Plummer's trying to throw her in jail. It's a sleeper hit, grossing $46.4 million on a $13 million budget. Praised for its performances and depth. Tackles heavy topics: abuse, survival, and you know, what he does to his daughter. It doesn't feel like a cheesy TV movie either. It's raw, not a tearjerker for cheap thrills. This is King at his most human. No monsters, just real life struggles that hit harder than any ghost story. Yeah, there's no ghosts, there's no horror, there's no Randall Flagg, there's no virus sweeping the earth like in the Stand. You know, there's no hotel that is haunted. So it's just a straight up kind of old school movie that I really liked. But yeah, it goes on. It's about 2 hours long. I think it's just a little bit too long, but very good, very well shot, and like I said, it's Tony Gilroy wrote the script. You know, he's a solid writer. He's, you know, written for Andor, Michael Clayton, Nightcrawler, Rogue One, which is probably the best Star Wars movie that Disney's made. Some of the Bourne movies, or I guess all of them: Bourne Identity, Bourne Supremacy, Bourne Ultimatum, State of Play, Devil's Advocate, which this director also directed. So you got a solid director, good cast. I'm not a massive Jennifer Jason Leigh fan. I reviewed Single White Female. She is very good in that. That's probably my favorite movie with her. But This is very good, and you know, it shows that, you know, she struggles with drinking, and like when she gets there, you know, she goes and buys some liquor. The mom really doesn't like that, and there's some good bonding moments between them because she's really harsh on her mom. She says she only remembers the mom hitting the father. She doesn't remember the father hitting her, and she just remembers kind of this glowing view of her father, and she's blocked out all the bad parts, probably because, you know, after he died, she just would rather remember the good parts. But and then later on the barge, after everything with Dolores, she then, you know, gets flashbacks and remember it. The flashbacks are really well done. Kind of reminds me how like Christopher Nolan kind of does flashbacks. Like they feel very natural to the scene and make sense. Like she gets that flashback on the barge because it took place on the barge. So yeah, I'm a fan of this movie. I definitely recommend it. Delores Claiborne, yeah, it's 2 hours and 12 minutes, rated R. And yes, if you're a Stephen King fan, I'd say it's a must. So, but that's about it. See you next time.